Hello everyone, my name's Rory and welcome back to Firebeard Outdoors. I am out here today for one reason, and that is to tap some birch trees. So I'll show you how that is done. This is something you can do to gather the birch sap. Birch sap can be used as a drink, or it can be turned into birch syrup in the same way that you would make maple syrup from maple sap. So I'm going to do this now. You can only really do this at certain times of the year, and that is a very short period between winter and spring. This is when the birch trees are starting to awaken after winter. They'll have a lot of their water surging through the trunks, bringing life back to them, and there's only sort of a 4-week window in which you can do this. I'm hoping that I've not reached the end of it, but I'm just going to do it and see what I get. Right, so in order to do this, I've got a few bits of equipment. First of all, I've just got a little knife just to see if there is sap flowing. You need a sort of receptacle, something to collect it. You can use a plastic bottle, a demijohn. I'm just using a metal canteen here. I've also got a hand drill here, just a little, you can use a normal drill, doesn't matter, but I've got about an 8mm drill bit on there. Another thing I've prepared is a little stick. I've just carved all the bark off it and made a little channel down the middle of it. This is going to go in the hole that I drill, and it's going to act as a funnel and direct the sap into my receptacle. You need to make it as narrow to fit in the hole as possible. So this is a silver birch tree. This forest is actually very abundant with them. They're very identifiable. Bright white silvery bark with striations across it. And I'm going to see, this is the sort of diameter I'm looking for. Big, chunky, older trees that will probably have more water in it and give me a better yield. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do to see if this tree has any birch is flowing. So I'm just going to get my knife and I'm just going to stick it in under some of the bark. If there is water in there, it will start flowing and trickling down immediately. You can see it's coming out here. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in at a slight angle like so. So let's begin. Okay, so I've drilled the hole now, and I've stuck in the twig. Next step is to get your cup and to stick it underneath, and then using string I'm going to tie this to the tree. So here I have it fastened nice and tightly to the tree. It needs to be tight because the more liquid gets in there, it's going to get heavier, and then you don't want it dropping to the floor halfway through and losing everything you've gathered. But as you can see, it's already starting to trickle in. I'm also going to stick in just to try and encourage it outwards rather than trickling down, like so. So there you go, and already you can see it dripping in. Okay, so here is the first one. I'm going to leave this now for 24 hours, and I'm going to come back tomorrow to see how much I've collected. I'm going to try and cover it up as well to stop any sort of other debris and stuff getting into it. Right, so what I've done is I've just covered it with a big sheet of birch bark. That should hopefully protect it from the rain or anything else dropping in, and we'll see how it goes. So I've set up a next one. What I've done instead of using as a twig this time is I've found a dead fern, and I've used the stem from that. They're hollow, and that can act as a straw, and that should work just as well as a stick, if not better. Right, so there I've tapped 2 birch trees. I'm going to leave them now. I'm going to come back tomorrow and see how it's going. So I'll see you then. Okay, so it's been almost 24 hours. I'm now heading back there to see exactly what has gone on, what progress has been made. I'm unsure what to expect. Hopefully nothing's been spilt or nothing's been knocked over, but I'm nearly there, so I'll find out shortly. Okay, so here I am back at the initial one. I'm going to see how much I've got. Well, there's a decent amount in there. So yeah, that's the first one. And here is the second. During the night the birch bark has been knocked off. I don't know what caused that. There isn't as much in that one, but it's still quite a usable amount. So here are the two receptacles. They've got, the two trees have worked in slightly different ways. This one hasn't had so much of a yield, but this one's had quite a lot. So I've decanted everything I had from those two trees into a bottle, and as you can see I've got a decent amount. However, I could have got more. There are quite a few variables that can affect the yield you receive. That can be from where in the country you are. It can depend on the time of year. Obviously I said before that there's a 4-week period in which you can do it, but if you're towards the end of it or whether you've just missed it, then it can affect the amount you get. Each individual tree is different. The side of the tree that you place the receptacle on. Now there are more modern ways of doing this, modern techniques using modern equipment. You can get like maple and birch, what's called a spile, which is like a tap which you can hammer into the tree. You can use plugs and tubes to make it more sanitary or whatever. I just wanted to show this sort of bushcrafty way of doing it using the forest as a resource. So the last thing I need to do before I leave these trees is, these trees have a big hole in them now, and they will keep pouring sap out of them unless I fix and plug up these holes. So what I'm going to do now is get some sticks. I'm going to whittle them down to the size just larger than the diameter of the hole that I've created. Then I'm going to hammer them in and then saw the ends off to, like a graft, to make sure that the tree doesn't continue to lose its sap, because that can cause damage to the trees and cause infections and insects to get inside, which would kill the tree. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make sure that everything is back the way I found it as much as possible. Right, so what I've done is I've grafted the hole and I've stuck a stick in there, and I have plugged it up around the outside with just compacted mud. Okay, so now I'm back at home. I've got the sap here. I've measured it out. I've got about 1.5 pints here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour some into my cookser here and give it a little taste. So, oh wow. Wow, that's it's got a very nice taste. It tastes a lot watery, then there's an aftertaste of, can't really describe it, it's not it's like something I've never had before, but it's very nice. It's very sort of like it's been gathered from the wilderness. Yeah, lovely. So birch sap is a very tasty nutritional drink. I believe there's quite a lot of vitamins in there. A lot of people in Sweden drink it after the long winter. It's a good drink to sort of revitalise the body after the cold months, and historically that's what it's been used for. Birch sap can also be used to turn into birch syrup. However, I have a friend who did this recently, and from a litre she only got 10 mils worth, so it's not, you don't get much of a yield for that, and with the yield that I've got I'd probably get even less, so I'm probably just going to keep this as a drink for now. But yeah, it's very nice and very good for you. Okay, so thanks very much for watching this video. I'm just going to sit here and drink more of it. Yeah, thanks very much for watching, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Farewell.